The way last season ended, and then no bowl game. I'm sure in the locker room you're looking at empty trophy cases right now. How long of an off season was that for you personally?
It was long. I mean, growing up in Wisconsin, you know the history of it. You know the history of the Axe, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and it hurts. It stings. And you make it a point of emphasis in the off season to never have that feeling again. And it was long, but we're ready to get them back. And it hurts. You know, you gotta let it go at some point, but you gotta let it sting too. You gotta learn from it. So it's been a long off season in that sense, just wanting to get it back. But it's been a great off season as well.
When you look up and you see a schedule that a lot of people say is the toughest in the country, how are you guys just rallying around that, knowing the outside's not expecting anything from you? Maybe not because of who's in the locker room, but because of who you're facing.
Yeah, and I know it's cliche, but if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? And at this level, every guy who comes in to play college football is so competitive. You know, you don't want a cakewalk. That doesn't prove anything. And I think we're ready for it. You know, we're ready to go to Alabama, Oregon, all these teams. But you can't look past the first two. You can't look past Miami, Ohio, Middle Tennessee. You can't do that. But we're excited. You know, it's a challenge, and that's what you want. That's what you want. If you want to be great, you got to be challenged.
Playing for an offensive coordinator that is an offensive line guy and kind of has a physical downhill mentality.
Yeah.
How have you seen that affect you, or maybe the offensive line in general? It's kind of getting back to Wisconsin football, and you've got a guy that can probably relate to a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's instilled that tough, nasty, disciplined attitude in the offense, and that's what Wisconsin has been in the past. 2010, 11, 12 teams. Jonathan Taylor back in 18, 19. That stuff is what Jeff Grimes wants to be, and that's what we want to be. We want to be tough, nasty. We want to leave that field knowing that we just put those guys in the dirt and they didn't want to play us again. And the offense guys are hungry, and they love Coach Grimes and what he's doing, and we're bought in.
You came here to play under Paul Chryst. It was obviously much different offensive philosophy than what Coach Longo. What was just your honest reaction when you saw the changes 2 years ago that were coming to the offensive side of the ball, now that it's over?
Yeah, I think, it's a business, right? You see it every day it happens, but, you got to be excited because it's something different. And it could be great. No matter what happened in the past, it was a change. You got to embrace change, and it was exciting at the time, and now it's exciting again. We had something to look forward to. But I couldn't be. I think this is the most excited I've been with Coach Grimes. What he's done to pro-style offense. So you'll see a lot of great things.
The right guard spot felt a little unsettled in spring. How do you kind of gauge the competition going on there right now?
I think no matter who we put out there, whether that's J.P. Benchwell, Kerry Kadenko, Emerson Mandel, no matter who it is, they're all great. They're all phenomenal. And it just comes down to who plays with the five better, They got to go out there every day. They got to work. They got to compete. And that's the best part. Competing against each other makes each other better every day. But no matter who's out there, you got confidence in them. And they're great football players, so it'll be exciting.
The defense is obviously going through a lot of changes, at least in the front seven, too. How have you noticed the difference in them now that I think Coach Fickle said there's 6 300-pound plus guys versus one last year?
Yeah, it's huge. The ability that they have to stop the run now is greater than it was last year, and that's what I see playing against them every day in spring ball. And they're physical. They're not just physical, but they're quick too. They're athletes. And it's awesome. We compete against them every day. We go back in the locker room. We're friends. We hang out. But they're special players. And they're really close. The defense is a really close, tight-knit group. So it'll be pretty cool to watch them play on falls.
Did you get matched up much with Charles Perkins? I'm just curious, what you think of his impact on that defense.
Yeah, I think what he will bring to our defensive line is pretty great. He's an athlete. He's strong, but he's quick too. He's got a twitch to him that you don't see a lot at that weight. He's got a strong lower body. He can get off the ball really well. And he allows all five of us to compete with him every day, and he makes us better. You win some, you lose some, and that's what's great about this sport. But he's a great addition to the defensive line.
Is there a young guy, we may not see this year on offense or get meaningful snaps on offense at least that's, got you excited for the future?
Yeah, Colin Cubberly. He's a guard. Going to be a redshirt freshman. He's making some big steps this offseason. He did a great job in spring. he's got such a bright future, and I'm really excited to see how he pans out.
And Coach Fickle mentioned in Big Ten Media Days you might bounce out to left tackle. What have kind of the conversations been like, or is it just kind of wait to see how Davis handles that before making any decisions with you?
Yeah, I think it's wait to see. You gotta let guys compete, see how they pan out, see what happens. But I'm ready. If that's what's best for the team, I'm ready to do it. I'm willing to step out there. I'm comfortable out there. I played tackle in high school. But whatever happens, happens, and I'm ready to go to work for sure.
As far as you're starting camp at guard tomorrow.
Yep, yes, sir.